Thank you for tuning into or watching the Choice, Change and Action podcast. My name is Simone Milasas and I am your host. Your choice creates your future. Every choice you make, action you take, you create a change for you and the world. Please enjoy this podcast. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take me too seriously. Don't trust me. Trust you. You are the one that knows what will work for you. And have way too much fun enjoying your choices. Here's a quick overview for the podcast you're about to listen to. It's at a Business Done Different class that I just finished. Literally, I just actually finished it today in Dubai, and I co-facilitated with Dr. David Kubes. 3 days. It was so much fun. It was so great. And I'm so incredibly grateful for everyone who came along. And what people choose is just, that's always the thrill for me, is when you see people go, I can have something different. I can choose something different. So thrilling for me. So one of my favorite classes to facilitate, Business Done Different, just finished it. Here is an excerpt that we had, and it's in regards to a tool that we use very often in Access. We talk about it like right at the beginning, and it's called a 10% tool. It's about honoring you and putting 10% away of everything that you earn for you. So it's about honoring you. So I asked all the people in the class and they said it's okay, the ones that are on here. So I wanted to share this with you for two reasons. One, I love this tool and I hated this tool to begin with, but it literally has changed my financial reality. And I have a Getting Out of Debt Joyfully class, which is based on my book. In a couple of months, we'll put the details below. And I also have a one-off class. It's $50, okay? It's $50 and it's at the end of this month. So it's really, 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 really soon. Probably just as this podcast is releasing or something like that. So, and I'm flying tomorrow. So I am using this to my advantage to do this, to have this. So you can hear this, and I also don't have to record another podcast now because I love recording the podcast, but not when it's like, you got to do a podcast. Nothing should be a necessity. It should be a choice. So enjoy, my friends, and I will see you on the next podcast.
The 10% account.
Oh, thanks.
You said putting 10% bill. It's the 10% account where, are you talking about putting 10% away from everything you make? Is this?
Yeah.
So you want to, what is your question about it? Why do we do this, or how to do it?
Or both?
No. Which possibilities can give for me this?
Okay, so
do you, what if we do you all know what 10% account is on an account? Is there anyone who doesn't actually? Okay, so there's a few people. Do you want Ryan?
Okay, Ryan. So
don't make me hit you in public.
Then the 10% account, the idea of the 10% account is that every money you make, you put 10% away and you put it in a separate account, and that 10% of all your income, you don't spend it, you don't save it for later. That is just for you. And money just for you. By creating a 10% account, you start getting an idea of what it is to have money just because you can. We are all trained, you need to create money in order to pay bills, you need to create money in order to having money. That idea of I have because I can. To somehow practice and train that energy to I can because I can. And when you put this 10% away, you start being that energy. I have money because I can. And it also gives you that sense of I have money, because it takes you out of that scarcity, of that lack energy. Oh, I have no money, I have no money. No, you have, and you don't spend it because you always have. That's the incredible energetic contribution of a 10% account. A daily reminder, you have money. You have, just because you can. You don't need to justify, you don't need a reason to create. You can have money just because you can. And what I found out is brilliant about the 10% account. It's 10% of what you made. So when you have $100,000 in your 10% account, you go, fuck, I made $1 million. I tend to forget how much money I make because I'm really good at investing it in Christian Dior, in jewelry. And then I always go, I need to make more money, I need to make money. I just need to look at my 10% account and go, what, really? Yeah, follow-up questions like, where the fuck did all the money go?
That's a different story.
Is there a hole in my bank account? But it's an energetic contribution for you to really get, I can have because I can. And you can have that 10% in cash under your pillow. You can have it on a bank account. You can buy a ring with it and go, oh, that's my 10%. You can have, I suggest to invest your 10% account in something that gives you the energy, wow, I'm rich. Wow, I'm rich. And
like gold.
Yeah, gold, silver.
At one stage, I had a huge, big, it was 5 kilo silver, what do you call it, bullion, as a door stopper in my bedroom. And people would go, is that silver? And you go, and it was like 5 kilos of silver just sitting there as the door stopper on my bedroom door. It was fun. And the thing with a 10% account is, how many of you don't like doing it? How many of you did it because you learned it as a tool and went, oh, okay, I have to do it? I did. I hated it. I thought that was the dumbest tool in the world. But I was using...
Please share this. Is so...
I did. I was using Access Consciousness tools and they were working. And I wasn't using the money tools, right? And I organised a class for Gary and Dane to come out, and they were in the Gold Coast, Australia, doing this 2-day money class. And I was sitting in the audience, and they're talking about, these money tools. And I was literally in the audience, and I could hear in my head going, here we go again, like blah, 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 these money tools, And I knew I was in debt. I didn't know how much I was in debt, but I knew I was in debt, and I went, this is crazy. I'm using these tools, they're working, and I'm not using the money tools, absolutely refusing to use the money tools. And so I made the demand of myself that I would use some of the tools. And I picked 3 of them, and I started using 3 tools. And the 10% account was one of them, and I just thought it was so stupid. But I set myself a note for 3 months. For 3 months, I'm going to use these tools and see what shows up. So at the end of 3 months, I looked at all my finances, and it wasn't like I had this huge amount of money or anything, but I went, I have some money. I don't feel so desperate to get my rent this week. And I noticed the energy had changed for me around money. So I went, I'm going to go with that. And ever since then, I've just kept doing my 10% account. And my 10% account I've got a whole bunch of money in there, but I've also brought diamond rings, pearls, I've got gold, I've got silver, I've got platinum. I've got things like this that have intrinsic value, as David was saying. Something like, don't go buy a horse, that eats your money, okay? But get something that has intrinsic value that you can either sell it today or tomorrow and sell it for the same amount or make more money.
Something that doesn't lose value over time. When you buy a car, it loses value over time for the first 25 years. When it becomes an old timer, it might go up again. But you need to feed it.
That's a long time to wait for the depreciation to be like a... Yeah.
But or real estate. People say, oh, I'll buy real estate. It costs you money to have real estate. So that's kind of an alligator, like a pet, like an animal. You have to feed it every day. Diamond ring is a diamond ring. The value might go up and down and up and down, but it will always be valuable. Gold, silver, it doesn't decrease in value over time. Most of these things go up.
Can I share a story?
Hang on, here's a follow-up question. Yeah.
No questions.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing your 10%?
I will start in.
Okay.
Good.
You know what? Here's the thing. Start and you choose, okay? Do not trust us. Don't trust your mum, okay? Just trust you, okay? So maybe even set yourself a thing like for me, because I didn't want to do it, and do it for 3 months. And the end of 3 months, just go, oh, how do I feel about money? How's money in my world? Is there a different energy there, okay? Do it because it works for you, not because we tell you to.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
You're so welcome.
Anna?
Wait, Hannes has a
Hannes?
follow-up.
Yeah, and my follow-up question is, can you talk about investment in yourself and 10%?
Yes.
You know, like investing in classes and...
I would not use my 10% to pay for a class. I have used my 10% to pay for something that I would consider not part of that, but I needed to borrow the money. But here's what I did, and I made the demand. That is the first thing that I pay back. And I did that. So I can hear people go, oh, can I use my 10% for this? I'm not saying yes or no, but I would not use it to pay for something like a class.
Because it said that the best investment is in yourself.
Yeah, but you're, okay, are you justifying it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
Just-
so
If you try the energy of just having an honor account, that's just for fun for you.
well, gifting yourself the knowing I can have because I can, I am rich, is probably a great investment in yourself as well. That I'm fucking rich. I'm rich. And then the beautiful is you can say, yes, I have, but no.
And do what works for you, Hannes. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen people have their 10% and then spend it, and Dane included, and then watch Dane's money just go down like this. And I was like, wow. And I was like, thanks, Dane, for taking one for the team, because I never did it. I've never not paid my 10% back.
Also, if you don't abuse yourself by keeping the 10%, okay? If you get a tax bill and they're about to take you to prison because you are in default, borrow from it, okay? That's a tool that should
Bit
be
of
a
an
contribution.
extreme
And there was a
example.
lady, she had a tax bill
Really?
due and they wanted to seizure her accounts and all this stuff. I'm not touching my 10%. I said, I want to go to prison instead?
Okay.
So don't abuse yourself by
Dios
keeping
mío.
it.
Allah.
Or paying your rent and then losing your house, or the bank foreclosing on you because you're, I mean, don't be abusive to yourself, okay? Go, okay.
But
borrow from
my
it.
my sense is, if you actually have your 10% account, you're honoring you don't end up in situations like this, because you
And
end up
if-
creating more money, you end up creating more wealth. You end up living that life where every breath you take, you can actualize money.
Because it's often this question that comes up, yeah, but can I invest in this money, the 10%, you know, in classes, in university or whatever,
So are you saying people ask you, or are you asking?
both.
Okay,
That
because
was-
if you said to me right now, can I use my 10% to pay for your class, Simone? And I said yes. Okay, now picture the future. Who's wrong, me or you?
You.
Me. Exactly. So I would never, ever say to anyone what they do with their 10%. It has to be their choice, because as you make your choice with your 10% account, you honor you. And that's one thing I really learned, because as soon as I got money in, the first thing in my head, I'd go, who do I have to pay? And it was like a hot potato, like, how do I get rid of it? And even when I realized at one stage, as I was getting out of debt, that I had money, and then I would earn money, and I was so uncomfortable having money. I even brought one of my friends a car, because I was just like, I don't know how, this is uncomfortable. Do you want something? Here, let me buy you a car. Like, let me do something with this so I can get rid of it, so I can be back in my comfort zone of no money. So how many of you have the comfort zone of no money, not enough profit, always on struggle street? Struggle street, easy to say. Everything at that is time for Godzilla, and we destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pog, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and
And I
beyonds.
noticed as money came in, and instead of going, what bill do I have to pay? And the first thing I would do, the first thing is put that 10% away. There was this honoring of me as an infinite being that I had not yet discovered. And that's gold.
I think also Gary said, you know, then the universe sees, okay, you are honoring yourself,
Yeah.
and the energy
Yep.
follows, you know, what you're
Yeah.
doing. So
And it's probably the easiest way, I'll just take it from the 10%. What if you went into, okay, what can I create? I want that class, and put a demand out. And as an access facilitator, telecall, bars class, just divide the money that you require by the class participants. Have you done that? I need 2,000. It's like 1.5 people in a foundation class if you do it from your home. It makes you look at, a number sometimes seems so big, but if you calculate it down to what it actually is, if you say I need $10,000 in 2 weeks, if you're a CF, how many people do you need in a foundation? What are the expenses? 5 people, done. A telecall about, I don't know, if I would just make a telecall about the 10%.
It's true.
Life can be so easy.
And when you just said there, David, like the big, like how many of you don't look at your finances because you decide the number's too big? Like what if you just played? Like what if even you, like how do you travel around the world now? Do you travel economy, business class, first class? If you travel economy, business class, get a quote on first class. Ring a private jet company. Find out how much it costs to get a jet. You don't have to book it, but find out, like start to reach higher than what you would. If you walk past a clothing shop that you would never usually go into, I'm not saying you have to buy the clothes or buy those shoes, but walk in and go, can I try that watch on? That $120,000 watch? Thanks. The guy in the shop is not going to look at you and say no. He has no idea how much money you have or you don't have. But what I would like you to do is get free so that you can have anything. And I did that religiously. I would walk into, I remember I walked into this shop with Dane once, and it was a secondhand jewelry shop. And he brought it was in Australia, and he brought a $10,000 Rolex. And I went, you can do that? I was just like, what the fuck? And I was even barely able to stand in the shop. And he just went and brought a secondhand Rolex and spent $10,000 in one go. And I was like, how the hell do you do that? And I was so contracted and just, wow, that's never going to be my reality. I went, that's never going to be my reality, that I have a no in my world. So I practiced and I walked into shops and I did all this stuff. And I remember I was at Dubai, Emirates first class lounge when I brought my first Rolex waiting for a plane, and I was like, damn. And I was like, that's what it looks like to do that. And it was such a joy in my world. It's not about the Rolex, it's about the choice. And if you eliminate choice from your world, you eliminate the possibilities. You can have everything. Everything is possible, but you have to choose it and start honoring you.
But I also realized, the more often you choose it, easier it gets, It's like,
there are so many things we have in our head where we go, oh, this. And once you choose, you get to experience how easy it is. So don't be afraid of the experience. And instead of head tripping how it could be, did we talk about this? Trying to figure out how a certain food tastes? Just take a bite, and if you don't like it, spit it out. But if...
David said that. Etiquette.
Like your snake.
In a napkin.
Discreetly. You can do that with business. So let's do that, okay? Let's do that over break. When we take for a break, see, $10,000, and then break it down with the current business you have, facilitator business you have, or whatever. Really break it down to the per capita, the per head, or how many butts and seats do I need in my class? How many products do I need to sell? How many consulting sessions, whatever. I don't know what you do, but let's find out, in order to create $10,000, what does it actually take? If you are CF, do a foundation, a bars class, a telecall, private sessions. Calculate it down to the butts and seats or to the items that you need to sell. And then go, okay, and if I started today, when will that be there? Make that commitment and then just try it out and make the experience how easy it is to generate a $10,000. And do that twice a month, you have 20,000. Do that every month, and suddenly you are a millionaire. It's not a big deal. It's actually not a big deal. But most people go, oh, $1 million is too much, so they don't even start. They don't even allow themselves to go there and look at the details because they have decided it's too much. It's not me this lifetime. Leave the millions to the lucky ones.
So how many of you have decided earning millions is too much? And everything that is, and everywhere that you've decided you cannot earn more than your friends or your family, we destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pog, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds.
If we were all billionaires, where would the planet be? What would you be choosing with your money?
Oh, that was nice. Ooh.
So stop being selfish and get filthy rich, basically. And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pog, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds.
I just want to mention one thing before you go, is Hannes mentioned like the universe and the universe being willing to give to you. The universe is like a banquet, okay? And there's this old, a banquet, like a banquet.
What is a banquet?
Well, that's such a bad word for it. A buffet.
A buffet.
A buffet.
A buffet.
A buffet.
Yeah.
A buffet banquet, okay?
No, just
it's
buffet.
like there's
A
all
buffet
these
of
choices.
possibilities.
A buffet of possibilities, okay?
Can you say that again?
A buffet of possibilities, okay? And it doesn't sleep. It doesn't shut the door on you, okay? There is so much available. And yet we will ask a question, and then the second you go to, oh, well, that didn't show up, or I'm not worth it, I'm a problem, you know, da-da-da, all these things, oh, nobody else I know is earning this much money, I can't do this. You have all of these reasons and justifications for not receiving. The universe doesn't shut this buffet of possibilities down. You do. And the universe goes, I was just about to open all these doors for you. And you went, oh, didn't show up on time. And you slam the doors shut. You kill the future possibilities. So how many future possibilities have you killed by being in judgment and making time relevant? And everything that is, and will you please just kick all of those doors open again and allow that buffet of possibilities to be available? Everything that is on three. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do a 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Well, did you like this podcast? Love it? Hate it? Inspired by it? Can you do me a favor? Can you please write a comment, share it, like it? If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, could you tick a few stars for us? Leave a review. It's all such a contribution, and I am immensely grateful. Follow us on Instagram at Choice, Change and Action, and drop into our DMs and let us know what you would like next. When you subscribe to the show notes, you will receive a brief summary and any questions or tools we used and links to anything we discussed during the show. It might make your life easier. What if we asked for that? A life of ease, joy, and glory.